Liquid. The all-in-one AIO liquid cooler. The most common way a technician will encounter liquid cooling is through an AIO. This is a self-contained, factory-sealed unit that requires no maintenance from the user. The pump block, this sits directly on the processor. It contains a copper cold plate and a tiny motor that circulates the liquid. The tubes, flexible, reinforced hoses that carry the liquid to and from the radiator. The radiator, a large metal grid mounted to the case. As the hot liquid passes through the radiator's tiny fins, fans blow air across them to dissipate the heat into the room. For a hardware technician, AIOs are excellent because they provide the cooling power needed for heavy workloads, like running local AI models or hosting multiple virtual machines, without the complexity of building a plumbing system from scratch. Custom loops, open loops. A custom loop is a bespoke cooling system where every single part is chosen and assembled by the technician. While they offer the absolute best cooling performance, they are incredibly complex to build and maintain. Reservoir, a tank that holds extra liquid and helps air bubbles escape the system. Fittings and tubing. These can be soft tubing, flexible rubber or hard tubing, acrylic or PETG that must be bent with a heat gun. Blocks. In a custom loop, you can add blocks not just for the processor, but also for the graphics card, GPU, and even the motherboard VRMIS. Advantages of liquid cooling. Noise levels. Generally quieter than air coolers under heavy load because the fans can spin more slowly. Peak performance. Can keep a processor at peak speeds for hours without thermal throttling. Internal space. Moves the bulk of the cooling to the edge of the case, leaving the center of the motherboard open for other expansion cards. Risks and disadvantages. Pump failure. If the pump dies, the liquid stops moving, and the CPU will overheat in seconds because there is no fan directly on the chip for emergency airflow. Mechanical noise. A dying pump can make a high-pitched, whining, or grinding sound that is very difficult to ignore. Physical compatibility. Large radiators may not physically fit in standard office cases, requiring a larger chassis. The leak factor. On a custom loop, a single loose fitting can spray conductive liquid onto the motherboard, causing a catastrophic electrical short. Maintenance and troubleshooting. For an AIO, the only maintenance is cleaning the dust out of the radiator fins. However, if the system is several years old and you hear a gurgling sound, it usually means some of the liquid has evaporated through the tubes over time, known as permeation. Since AIOs are sealed, they cannot be refilled and must be replaced. On a custom loop, the liquid must be drained and replaced every 12 to 24 months to prevent gunk or mineral buildup from clogging the tiny channels inside the cooling blocks.